Hello, welcome to Simcha, a celebration of life. I'm your host, Nikki Wallman. Oort Tech, together with the Winelands District of the Western Cape Education Department and Remgro, offers specialised training and support in curriculum development and in teaching mathematics, technology, natural science and literacy from grades R to 7.
Oort today is the biggest Jewish non-governmental education in the world. We are located in about 100 countries in the world, with the head office in Oort World that is in London. Today we are in fact started 15 years ago here in South Africa, but Oort is about 130 years ago. It was established in St. Petersburg in Russia, where the Jewish people were in the pale zone and they didn't have any skills. So Oort decided to train them skills, needed skills at this time. And after this, when the Jewish people started to emigrate from Russia because of the war in other countries in the world, Oort was going after them. And like this, we become today really the largest Jewish organization, educational, in the world.
Our motto is educating for life. And we have always done just that, educating people to improve their lot in life and to be able to be self-sustaining and self-supporting.
ORT Tech is part of Oort South Africa. We're affiliated with Oort South Africa and affiliated to World Oort, which opens up a wonderful world of expertise in terms of science and technology for us. Not only the content that they teach, but also the methodology that they use. ORT Tech is, like the rest of Oort, a proudly Jewish organization. And if I'm asked what we do, I always say that we do educational development work in maths and science and technology.
Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, guests, friends, partners, and also donors. Welcome to David Soosman House.
One is fortunate if perhaps once in a lifetime, because it won't be more. You meet somebody whose personal qualities and attributes consist of profound wisdom, deep emotion and support for others, leadership skills, inspiring vision, somebody who is unbelievably generous, full of energy, and really feels that helping others is a mission in life. Such a person was David Sussman, and he was more than that. One does not often come across someone like David, and what a privilege it was to know him and to see the contribution he made to not only the Jewish community of Cape Town, but very much to the wider community as well. So who was this remarkable man?
David's involvement, I think, goes back even as early as 1948. And he has an abiding passion for Oort. He loved Oort South Africa. And when Oort Tech, at the time it was called Oort Step, closed down, David saw that Oort Step could work here in the Western Cape. And he took it on as a personal project. And it was David's dream that we could spread what Oort Tech does, educator empowerment, educator development. He really wanted to take that through the whole country, and we are working towards that. We've always operated outside of other places, and it's been difficult. It's been very cramped and very difficult, and we told David that we really needed to have something that was bright and airy and technologically fitted the organization, and he came to our rescue. He came to our rescue. He's always rescued Oort. He's done that for a lifetime. He's just been there for Oort. His passion for the organization was really immeasurable.
Oort Tech facilitates on-site curriculum development at 2 anchor schools, Idas Valley and Rietenbosch Primary, and supplies these schools with additional resources to give learners access to quality classroom education.
The project is called the ORT SEED project, SEED being the acronym for Sustainable Educator Empowerment and Development. The 2 schools in Stellenbosch, Rietenbosch and Idas Valley, are considered to be the anchor schools. Reason being, we do intensive classroom-based support in mathematics, science and technology. We also work with the management team whilst at the school because their important role is to manage the implementation of the curriculum. After all, a school is about learner performance. That's the core business, and that's what we want to see teachers becoming empowered to do efficiently and effectively.
Education is not valued the way that it should be, and I think you can go back in the terrible history when schooling was disrupted, and at the moment we are teaching the children of our lost generation that we all spoke about in the 80s. So we are really working quite hard with the school, with their parent community, with the governing body, to actually find ways to show people the real value of education. Our education system is also letting a lot of people down. If you look at the national statistic last year, at the end of last year, the national one was that 58% of children who started their schooling career 12 years ago did not write matric. So the schooling system is not providing the hope that it should for our communities. We are looking at all the faith-based organizations in the community. We are using the ward councillors, the wider community to actually re-establish that value.
I approached ORT Tech at the end of last year to intervene with literature, because our literature results at the end of the previous test were very low. And we approached them and they came up with the idea of providing us with books for grade 4 to grade 7.
Our book project, bearing in mind that children's literacy levels at these schools are also not on the accepted standard. So what we've done is by issuing them with good, exciting readers, it's brought about a love for reading, an excitement for reading, and the principals, the teachers are telling us that the children are walking around the corridors reading. They are now wanting to read. And you know, the expression about don't judge a book by its cover, I say in a literal way that one has to in terms of the books that we've selected, because the titles of these books make reference to SMS's, Kellogg's, Post-Toasties and things like that. And youngsters are now reading these books because they want to read the next one.
Hulle lees het baie verbeter. En aangesien ons kinders deesdae nie meer lees nie, want ons kinders het nie meer die verbeelding wat destydse kinders gehad nie, want televisie vat nou als oor. Waar het ORT ingekom het, is om die kinders weer aan die lees te kry. Selfs ek wat Afrikaans het gesukkel om die kinders aan die lees te kry, want die skool het nie die geskikte boeke gehad om die kinders aan die lees te kry nie.
It is a literature that they can relate to. It is in a language that is child-friendly, so they enjoying the books.
I've been doing ORT for 8 months, and it actually has helped me very good because I learned Afrikaans. I'm actually not good in Afrikaans, but now that I'm learning it, I'm very good in Afrikaans.
Ik lees die boeken omdat het voor mij interessant is en ik leer ook meer goedes, meer woorden wat voor mij ook zelf helpt om mijn spel te verbeteren in mijn Afrikaans. Hassel Adams.
35.
Wij kiezen Afrika.
34.
Marensia Arendse.
Nummer 19.
And we've now also empowered learners in these classrooms who are book prefects, and they literally are running the school's library. The teacher's role is merely that to supervise and ensure that everything is happening as it ought to. So we've brought about that love for reading back into our children's lives, and that certainly is going to make a difference to their literacy levels.
Ik is baie trots om 'n boekprefek te wees, omdat is my verantwoordelikheid om te sien na die boeke en dat die kinders het lees en het oppas.
I see a good future for it. We need more books. We need books for children to take home. At the moment, it isn't enough for every child to take a book home every week. So we hope that this project can go on into the future and with more books coming onto the school so that we can hand out books to children so they can read also over holidays and over weekends.
Oort started here at about 2008, and they started with a maths project. That's where they started. And then they started with the intervention in the classes.
Ek wil hê julle moet uitskree en vir my hande opsteek. Wie kan onthou wat is die wagwoord? In Engels is die paswoord.
In robotics, we take the science and technology curricula and we look at the commonalities in terms of what robotics has to offer. And we are finding that the children are extremely excited, enthused. They enjoy working with the robots because what they are exposed to, first of all, is building a robot, programming a robot with the utilization of a laptop, and then the robot has to perform a certain challenge.
So wat nou moet ons terug gaan na ons program en gaan kyk hoekom draai hy dadelik, né? Kom ons gaan kyk gou. It's a Lego-based program integrated with RoboLab, which is a software that they're using. The whole idea is to build the robot and then to program it to do what you want it to do. So they have to write the program, transfer it to the robot, and then go and test it. And then they can see, is it doing what it's supposed to do or not? And then they go back to the computer. So we like to call it cyclic learning. Each group progresses on their own. So it's very interactive, and they learn while they're doing it.
They confronted with a lot of problems, how to solve it, and it's difficult, but they enjoy it. It's fun. They learn how to solve problems, and I think that is where learning starts.
Active learning is so much higher learning than theoretical learning. Theoretical learning, they would have been bored a long time ago. But if they're active, they learn with all their senses, and they have fun, so they don't even know that they're learning. And I just feel, they understand a lot more than you think, and that you can actually go to a much more complex sort of level, and they still will follow because they're interested in what they're doing.
I always stress the logical thinking, because the robot will only do what you tell it via the computer to do. They will, for example, they want the little robot to turn, and then they program it and it turns to the wrong side. So they have to go back and think, why did it go the wrong way? So the whole time they have to analyze what they told the robot to do. So it's you can't make a mistake. You see, if you make a mistake, a thinking mistake will be exposed on the mat. So it really promotes logical thinking.
We were learning about them, how to work with the robotics, the robots, and how to program it.
And next week I'm looking forward to the next Thursday, because I know it will be fun.
I just went on one time because I don't really like to work on computers and stuff like that. I just have that feeling that, I'm going to do something wrong. But I learned that it's easy to work with it.
A lot of kids are afraid of maths because they don't enjoy it. They find it difficult to do. And a lot of kids, especially in the high school, despise science. They stay away from it. Now they've got another experience.
This could inspire that youngster to pursue mathematics, science and technology in the higher grades at high school, and possibly get him or her interested in pursuing tertiary study or even a career involving or requiring mathematics and science, which our country so dearly needs.
Oort Tech is the innovative arm of Oort SA, which operates throughout South Africa in areas of extreme poverty and disadvantage. Oort Tech focuses on training grade R teachers in maths, science and technology, and in developing management skills in schools to give teachers the confidence to work on the cognitive development of their learners.
Dreams that you get to dream really do come true.
Did you see the color in there? We talked about the rainbow. Have you ever seen a rainbow? Yes. Which colors do we see in a rainbow?
We work with teachers in the classrooms, supporting them in mathematics and science, and here we observe teachers teach, we co-teach with them, and we also observe them teach, so that at the end of the day, a facilitator would be able to give a teacher feedback of what was observed. And in that way, teachers are able to learn and improve upon their teaching.
You need to let the child see all of this with song, with their body. Let them discover it with their hands. Let them discover with all their senses. And that is actually what we are working towards. This is a CETA accredited course, and it's a 120-hour course, which is done on a weekly basis in 3-hour sessions over 36 weeks. I'm going to hand out to you masks, which represents Whitey. And I would like you to camouflage Whitey now for me. I'm going to give you all the material. You make your choice. And camouflage Whitey so that he blends into that garden that you see there in front of you. The focus of this course is mainly on the life skills curriculum in grade R, but there's a strong focus for us on integration of science and technology concepts and skills in literacy, numeracy, and life skills.
Our district is divided into 6 circuits, and 3 of our circuits are in Khayelitsha. It's informal settlement. Many of our teachers come from there, and they are the ones that lack training mostly. We also have systemic evaluation testing going on every year in the Western Cape Education Department, and those results also tell us about a possible lack of training, within the teacher body.
In technology, we work with a design process which deals with investigating, designing, making, evaluating. And in science, we also work with the scientific process. Now, in both these 2 learning areas, we look at developing thinking skills in children. And this is what we are busy with here. And it's a process that needs to develop within each one of these educators. And over the course of the training, the teachers start to understand what is process learning.
At first, I was a bit nervous about this being a facilitator because I'm coming from a grade R class. But now, as I go through, I learn a lot as well from the teachers. But it's nice working with big people.
When I come and visit you in your classroom, I would like to see. And you know what? There will be evidence of what you have done in your classroom when I come to visit you.
Well, they're amazing. In the old days when teachers were trained, the training was a lot more intense. Nowadays, when we do the training, it seems as if we want to cover so much more ground in much less time. And so these kinds of programs sort of fill in those gaps that are created over the years with colleges closing and universities not being able to take the capacities they used to in the old days. And many of these programs are very hands-on, so teachers become really become involved. This program of ORT is done once a week, so teachers have 7 days or about 4 to 5 days to go back, you know, sort of do a bit of preparation and then go back and implement what they've learned the week before.
I learned a lot through this course. Like, there were things that I thought the kids can't do, like weaving. I was so surprised when I introduced it in my class, and my learners were doing a wonderful job. You know, I was wowed by their job, what they did in my class.
Actually, we did the weather dolls a few weeks ago, and today I did it in my class as activity, and the children had a lot of fun. And for my bietjie meer te kom leer, om weer vir hulle te leer, dit is waaroor alles gaan.
Maatjies, vandag wil juffrou 'n bietjie met julle praat oor kleur, né? Soos jy gaan vir juffrou die maskertjie uitknip. Op die tafel is klompie versierings wat jy kan vir Whitey kamoufleer. Ons mag nie vir Whitey sien nie. As jy vir Whitey op jou gesig sit, moet jy niks wit sien nie.
We've capitalized so much into these teachers that they become lifelong learners. We would also like to see that the quality and the standard of teaching and learning improve in their classroom. We would also like to see that they integrate the science and technology concepts and skills into all the other learning areas, into literacy, numeracy, and life skills. We've discovered, because this is our 8th group that we're working with currently, we see how people develop and how new horizons really open for them, and they spill it over to their children in the classroom.
I believe what Oort Tech is doing and what Oort Tech is achieving is amazing. It might seem like a drop in the ocean, but we have a model that I believe can be replicated anywhere in the country. The big challenge we are faced with is funding. Funders are saying, you know, look at the state of education, but I'm very proud to say that in the light of what we are doing and the improvement that we are seeing in our schools, in learner performance, the improvement of the teachers' teaching practice, I think we have the recipe to success.
A child who understands technology develops a global capacity. And there's a lovely expression when you talk about technology. There are children who are digital immigrants and there are children who are digital natives. We, all of us, generally, are digital immigrants. Children are born understanding buttons and bells and whistles and all the things that we weren't exposed to. So it really is important for children to know technology so that we don't have that digital divide. We need those skills in this country to keep up. You know, with the way technology is, you have to run just to keep still. And that is what we want our children to have, that benefit, so that they are part of the whole world from tomorrow onwards.
Oort Tech believes that investing in our most valuable asset, our children, will contribute to making South Africa a better country. And with that, we come to the end of today's show. Thanks for joining us, and please tune in again next time. As always, from me, Nikki, shalom, and have a safe and peaceful week.